Hi everyone, Mrs. Hanby here. Have to record this video since I can't be with you. I am sick and hopefully we'll be with you soon, but we need to continue learning and make sure we are still doing stuff. And so here we go. First thing I want to say is make sure that you fill out the key vocabulary words that's pointing to, for instance, the x-intercepts, that these things are called the end behavior. So if you have not filled that out, also if you didn't get the notes page, make sure you ask the sub. It should be on my desk. All right, so one thing I want to know is notice that's a little special about the x-intercepts is we have some where the graph just crosses, and we have some where it goes down to the x-intercept, and I call it bounces. So it doesn't actually cross to the other side. It goes, and then it bounces back up. All right, so here's how you know. If there is only one x-intercept at x equals -3, so hopefully you realize the intercept here is going to be at x equals -3, and this is the factor. And then here, this is when x equals -1, and the way it's written here is a factor, and same thing here, x is going to equal 2.5. And so it's really all about the little powers here. So if we write it as a factor, this has an even power attached to it. That means that it happens twice, and anytime it has an even power, it's going to bounce, where here if it has a power of 1, it's going to go right through. And here it has a third power. It still crosses, but it kind of has like a little squiggly. Okay. All right, moving right along. All right, so let's talk about the end behavior. Hopefully you learned something through that investigation, but here we go. If you did not, here is the end behaviors. All right, so we look at two things. We look at the degree of the function, and we look at the leading coefficient. Okay, so you can see the leading coefficient here is positive, this one's negative, this one's positive, this one's negative, and here we have an even degree, and here we have an odd. So the highest power, that is your degree. So this has a degree of 4, so does that one. These both have degrees of 3. So it's the highest power on the polynomial. All right, so if we have an even, we know that they're both going to go in the same direction. So even means that the arrows are pointing either both up or they're going to be pointing both down. Okay? And here's how you know. You know based on if it's positive. So if it's a positive leading coefficient, it's going to end positive. If it is a negative leading coefficient, it's going to end negative pointed direction. And since it's even, I don't know what's going to happen all through here, but we know that they're both going to be going down. So it could be a whole bunch of stuff going like that, but as long as both of them point down, where here this one is positive, so it's pointing up, and then it's going to do a whole bunch of other things and then continue pointing up. So even, both pointing up or both pointing down. If it's positive, they're both pointing up. If it's negative, they both point down. Where if we have an odd degree, I still want you to think of this thing as positive, so we know it's going to end in a positive direction. If it's negative, we know it's going to end in a negative direction. But since it's odd, they're going to be in opposite directions. Even the same, odd is opposite. So here we're going to go shoot, 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 but end down here. Here we're going to start here, shoot, 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 and end up there. So that's where the arrows, even degree, even, even, they're either going to both go up or both go down, depending on the number in front. If it's positive, they both go up, negative go down. All right, so that's why we have this little slide for you, so you can go back and reference. So if it has an even degree, they're going to go in the same direction. If it's a positive leading coefficient, they're both going to go up. And this is more of a reference sheet. All right, so now I want you to go ahead and answer the last little bit of the quizzes and look for the next video in a few